welcome to the show. I'm Connie Tillman, and tonight my guest is a special education services, give it to me.
Technology specialist.
Technology specialist. His name is R.J. Cooper, and he drove all the way from Southern California to be on the Connie Tillman Show. I'm very grateful. R.J., thanks so much for being here.
You're welcome.
We finally got this started. I'm thrilled. You have the most marvelous, colorful, eye-appealing kid machine I've ever seen in my life sitting here. Tell me about it.
This is a vehicle that I've modified for children with very severe physical handicaps so that they can drive around their world just like other people can walk.
It's terrific. Now, you've got all these gadgets here. Show me how it works, and then I've got about 8,000 questions, so we're going to have to go quick because it's only a 30-minute show.
Okay. The vehicle, the yellow part that you see here, and the black roll bar, is a commercially available car from Sears. It's called the Boss for battery-operated spin system, and you'll see why they call it that in a short while.
And it costs
about $200.
In its normal state.
That's correct. And it usually has a joystick centered underneath where this chair is now, for a normal child to operate it by using both of their hands and moving the joystick in the direction they'd like to go.
Looks like fun.
And for most kids, it was fun. Now, what I've done is I've made electronics for the car so that severely handicapped children can drive it because they can't move that joystick.
So they're using a mouth, an arm? What are they using?
Yes, to all of those.
All of the above.
Right. Whatever they can do, if they can blow into a straw, if they can move their head, if they can move a finger, then they could drive this vehicle.
You're kidding. Wow. Show me what it does.
Okay. I'd like you to turn on our power here, Connie, if you would. This red button, just push it this way.
Now, if you haven't already figured out, I'm not technically oriented, but I think I can handle this.
That you've done it.
I did it. Great.
Okay. Now, everything seems to be hooked up. If you were the child and you were sitting in this special chair, when you put your head back right here, the vehicle starts to move forward.
It's got a sensor pad.
I have it on a very slow speed right now,
so we don't
just so we don't drive it off. I will put it on a fast speed, but I'll catch it before it tries to take off on us. And we can see that we have controllable speeds so that we can have lots of fun with this vehicle. So that would be one indication that the child can move in a forward direction by pressing on a little sensor switch like this that might be behind his head.
That's wonderful.
Now, what I'd like you to do is press this button right here.
Okay, I can do this.
There we go. Now I have that switch hooked up to the right turn mode. Now, an example of that would be a child would push against with their head. They'd push the side of their head against that switch there. And then with these two motions, back to go forward, side to go sideways, they can go in any direction because they just turn the way they want to go and then go there.
So even a child that's almost completely paralyzed and only has head movement is going to be fully mobile?
That's correct.
Wonderful. Show me a right turn.
Okay. And now you can see why it's called the battery-operated spin system.
I love it. How long does the battery on it last?
We've been getting about 6 to 7 hours on a battery charge. And overnight.
What does that come down to in miles?
Actually, that's a good question. I've never run it straight for a mile. That would be a good fun thing to do, though.
And top speed on this is what?
Faster than you can walk.
Really?
I have to jog to keep up with it at fast speed. And it also goes in the dirt, and it goes up slight hills and over grass. It's like a four-wheel vehicle at times.
Are these kids having a time of a lifetime? Or, I mean, it looks like it would be an enormous amount of fun.
Well, actually, a good answer to that is that I brought some videotape that I'd love to play of some kids actually having the time of their life, and I'd love to play that now.
Somehow I knew you'd do a good segue. Let's cut away to that film, and we'll be right back.
This is Brent. He has cerebral palsy, and the only thing that he can really move consistently is his head.
Oh, he's beautiful.
Now, he is going forward by moving his head back, and he's turning by pushing his cheek against a switch on his left cheek.
Oh.
Just as you did.
And what was his life like before he had this?
Very boring. In fact, it was very difficult to get him to perform in school. He just didn't have any motivation.
But now he's having a good time.
He's performing in quite a few different tasks now.
Oh, that's wonderful. And he can follow people around in malls? Are these allowed in malls?
These are allowed in malls, you bet, and he's even made some new friends because of the device.
I would imagine so.
And
it's
here are
much
some
cooler
people
than the bikes.
going for a ride with him on their bikes, and Brent is having, as you said, the time of his life.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, do you have a little canopy so that in the rain this will still run? That's all it needs, and it's perfect.
Actually, some of the different add-ons that people have suggested are quite comical. This is a little boy out in Kansas City at a conference that I was presenting this CooperCar, I call it, after myself. And this boy has cerebral palsy also. He can move his arms, just not consistently and reliably. But here he's actually trying to run down his brother. And it's the first time that he's ever interacted with his brother.
So this is
for
wonderful.
Fun.
Wow.
Now, do you remember when you were young and used to sit in a swing, twist it around, and then let it go?
Oh, God, yes, I do recall that.
Now watch this young gentleman's face.
Oh, RJ, this is fabulous.
So here is an example of these child just doesn't get that stimulation that you and I are used to, and when we give it to them, they have a lot of fun.
And all of a sudden they can go out to the world instead of having to have mom or a caretaker bring it into them.
That's correct.
This is great.
In fact, here's the ultimate example of that. This is on a school playground, and we are not coaching these kids at all. This is a little girl that up to now never interacted with anyone, and now, just through the power of the vehicle, she is the Pied Piper of this little playground at an elementary school.
She's attracting wonderful, positive attention.
She is.
That's better than taking a dog to school.
And that'll do it for the videotape.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thanks for showing us that. I think
You're
we're
welcome.
back now. I noticed the seat in one of them looked like it was a different color. Can you get different color schemes?
You bet. The seat itself is specific to the handicap of the child. This seat right here is called a tumble form. There are about 4 or 5 different types of seats made, and most parents and most special ed schools already have a variety of seats.
From the seats they're using.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what I do is just allow them to just put whatever seat that they have already in it so that they don't have the added expense of getting a special seat for the CooperCar.
Okay. How long, first of all, why did you become involved in this? I can't thank you enough for coming up here, especially now that I see how this works and see the tape. What made you get involved?
About 8 years ago, when I was going to school at the University of Utah, I felt a need to do something strong for, it sounds corny, but humanity. I wanted to do something.
That doesn't sound corny at all.
Okay.
That sounds
I hope
beautiful.
not. I hope not.
Rare.
And I didn't want to join the Peace Corps. This was right after the Iran debacle. And so I decided to get into special education and helping handicapped children. But I've always been strong in computers and electronics.
I figured that part out.
So here is a great blending of my electronics, my computer science. There's actually a computer inside here, and special education, helping children.
How long did this take from inception to the first model rolling off the floor?
Well, this is the first model literally rolling on the floor.
On the floor, that's better
This
than
is
all.
6 months, almost exactly. It took $20,000 of my own money, and it's the special ed market, the special ed field is such that you don't join it to make money.
No.
So if I made my money back, if I broke even and helped 200-300 kids along the way, then people might remember the CooperCar for a little while after I leave the earth.
Wonderful, bravo, I'll take that. Now, what do you do when you're not working on the CooperCar or appearing on the Connie Tillman Show? Do you have a job other than this?
No.
This is it?
I develop software. My main revenue is from developing software for the same exact population of children.
Oh, that's terrific. Now, look, I already know that some people are going to see this show and tell their friends who have disabled children who need this, and then they're going to call my house and say, how do you get it? And I'm going to go, ha, ha, ha. Where would they call?
Okay, they call my phone, or they write to me down in California.
And you have to give the phone number twice. It's a rule here.
Okay. The phone number is 714-240-1912.
Okay.
And that phone number, once again, is 714-240-1912.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. How much can someone expect to pay for this?
Actually, the way that I've designed this is to make things as inexpensive as possible. The key words are as possible. The base vehicle, as available from Sears through their catalog sales, is about $200, as I mentioned. And they'll deliver that right to your door. The tumble form, hopefully they already have, or something like it.
Right.
But if they don't have it, the one that I recommend from some other company is about $200.
Okay.
This particular one is reinforced in steel, which I really enjoy. This arm right here is a special arm available for each individual child. If they can use their hands, we might position it here so that they can use their hands. We can even put it down by their foot. And the arm itself is about $150 from another resource that I would give to people.
Okay.
Then all you're left with is the electronics which is the kit itself, and that is $500.
Okay, so altogether you're looking at $900.
That's correct.
Okay, and each one is handmade by you and individualized to the particular child, correct?
Not really. What I've done is I've created this module that people put in themselves. It takes about 5 minutes. So they purchase everything on their own. They don't have to pay shipping charges to get anything there. And then I sell them for $4.95. I sell them this module, which plugs in, and even a 10-year-old child can plug it in.
Which means I might stand a chance.
I hope so.
Okay.
If you don't, I failed in my work.
And then you order the separate arms or headpieces, whatever's needed.
Depending upon the need of the child. Exactly,
Okay.
Connie.
What's the youngest that a child can utilize this?
I have had children 18 months in this that performed quite well.
Okay.
In a study at the University of Washington with powered mobility, they've had up to 8-month-old infants actually driving electric power wheelchairs.
Okay. And how old and what's the top end on weight?
The weight is really the limiting factor. About 70 pounds is what you're going to look at. Now, with a child with CP, 70 pounds gets you up usually to around 13 years
I was
old.
going to say, because they're usually very light.
They're very thin, and a lot of CP children with CP, that's very important these days. We do not label them CP children. We say a child with cerebral palsy.
Okay.
A lot of them don't eat, and some of them have what we call G-tubes and get fed directly into their stomach,
Right.
as 2 of our people in our video
Okay,
had
and
that.
that can be done while they can park them
Actually,
by the
yes.
table and do that, and
That's
then they're
right.
off and running. This is wonderful.
Now, I've brought some other switches here just to show some different
please.
ways that people can operate them. Some children can only squeeze their hand. That's all they can do is just close and open their hand. So I'm going to ask you to take this squeeze switch, Connie, and I'm going to plug it in. Oh, I'll put it into reverse. So this will be our
there
way
goes
of
the table.
reversing.
We do have this table here. Are you
Okay,
sure
I
we
will
should do
move
this?
it forward like so.
Okay.
I have it on the slow speed once again, and you can move it backwards.
I hope the cameras are getting all of this. Okay. And look at how it's really responsive.
Very much
It's
so.
not jerky.
Nope.
This is better than my car.
We even have 4 adjustable accelerations, so that if we do get a startle response, is what it's called when a child goes like
Right.
that, we can just adjust it so the acceleration takes a longer time.
Very gradual.
Yes.
Wow.
Here's another switch.
Okay, do I get to play with this one
You
too?
bet.
This is wonderful.
Now this is a little, oh, excuse me.
That's okay, that's allowed. Just stick it back up there,
I will.
and I'll take your
I'll ask you
switch.
to take that. In fact, I'm going to have you even plug it in.
Uh-oh.
Find the end of that switch,
Okay, I've got that.
and I would like you to plug it into this left button right here.
Okay, this looks like a battery cable.
It does look like
Okay.
that.
And right here?
That's correct.
Okay. And she does this successfully.
Beautiful.
All right.
Okay. Now, if you bend that red part,
Any direction? Oh, look at this. But it only seems to be turning it in
that's
one
correct.
direction.
You have one switch to turn it left. I have one to turn it right. We have
Okay.
one to go forward, and we've also made one to go backwards.
And
So
you can put this at whatever level the child's comfortable with. That's why it's,
that's why it's on a squeeze thing.
however, you better be a strong parent.
For that particular
Okay.
one.
Wow.
And these are different examples of switches. Here's another one. We won't hook this one up, but this one is called a Mercury Switch. And it activates by tilting your head one way or the other, or attaching it to a part of the body where the liquid
I
metal
don't know if people,
will
it's got a
move.
level in it, and I assume that when
Right.
the liquid hits one end or the
That's
other.
correct.
I'm quicker than I think sometimes.
I think you're doing quite nice.
This is beautiful.
And then the last switch that I brought to show you is the most popular switch in our field. This actually even has a nickname called Big Red.
Okay, I think I can understand why.
And Big Red is very popular because the whole red part is sensitive. I have it into forward now. If you would just touch on the red part anywhere,
That's not, is this for feet?
that would be anything, where we can put that wherever they want. But that's a very popular, durable switch.
Now what do we have? Gee, wait. Oops,
That's
that
you
was
bending
me.
it.
That was me. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. No, that's
Let me-
okay.
let me
Now, that
check this
actually
out.
brings up a good point,
Now I've got forward.
right?
Oh, this
You've
is
got it.
dynamite.
Now, I'll show you one other feature. We can't trust these kids when we first put them in here. We're afraid they might drive off curbs. One of the first tests I did was with what we call a cognitively impaired child, a child whose thinking skills aren't quite what we call normal.
Okay.
And I put them in front of a wall, and I wanted to see if they would go and then stop before they hit the wall.
A
The
crash
answer is crash test. The answer is no, they don't stop. They
Okay.
love to go, but they don't stop when they see the wall. So we have a way to control that. And I have a remote control on-off device right here. Now, press your switch now so we can see.
My red one?
Sure.
Okay.
And it doesn't do anything until I activate my little remote control. And now press your red switch.
RJ, you've thought of everything.
Well, I've worked with these kids for a long time, and I tried to do exactly what you said. I tried to think of everything.
Every possible
I hope.
contingency. Wow. Now, it's got a really low center of gravity. It's a wide vehicle. Can it fall over? It doesn't. I just don't see how you could make this fall over.
No. In fact, we could tilt this on over a 45-degree angle, and it would still crash down like it's sitting now.
Really? Wow. Wow. How many of them are out in operation now?
We have 2 out in operation right now.
That's not bad.
And we have orders for about 5 or 6, and we expect more orders to come up as people learn about them.
Well, now listen, I know you said that you didn't really want to make any money off of this, but I think you know that everyone who has a child who needs it is going to want this.
Well, that would certainly be nice. I work hard, and I'd like to help lots of children with my work.
What's upcoming after this? Do you have something else in the...
Actually, we talked a little about that, the add-ons. We've had such cute suggestions for add-ons.
I think a parasol would be great.
You thought the awning idea someone has thought of, and you also, which is an excellent idea, a horn. A horn.
Oh, yeah.
What kid would not want to be able to say, even with a digitized voice, we could make it so it says, "Get out of the way." Sure, we can do that.
Right.
That's very easy because, as I say, we have a computer actually inside here that's capable of doing many things. Someone suggested putting a trailer hitch on the rear of the vehicle.
Oh, yes.
And pulling a lawnmower or a grass clipping picker-upper.
Or a little basket for groceries or something.
Little basket for groceries, something to make the person in here feel productive. And that would be good. Someone has also suggested, and we see this at some big corporations, they can spray some special paint on the floor to indicate a path that a robot follows. Because we have a microprocessor in here, we can put one of those sensors on the bottom here, and we can move children in school situations from one classroom to the other under their own power and make sure they get where they're supposed to go.
Have you got it set up so that the 2 kids who got them, if they played together, can they race in them?
Actually, we've not tried that yet.
Oh, I think that would be wonderful because this, Special Olympics really does a great job and it reaches a lot of people, but some kids can't even be in Special Olympics.
This is true.
And this would be a marvelous thing for them to race in, and I would love to see that.
Special Olympics has contacted me, and they actually want to include it in next year's July Special Olympics.
Oh, wonderful.
In fact, we've put a ball catcher on one, mounted a ball catcher, and we've had kids playing ball with each other. And what they do is they get going forward. I'll put it on a faster speed here.
Okay. Do you want this?
Actually not. This one will... Oh, actually, you're in control. Okay, you'll have us go forward. And I need to press my remote control. They go forward, then they stop, and when they stop, the ball's gathered enough momentum to move. And we've had kids play ball against each other in their
Almost like
vehicle.
croquet.
Very much
With
like
this-
it.
This is fabulous. If you don't ever do anything else decent in your whole life, I think you're covered.
Why do you think I named it the CooperCar? It's exactly my feeling. I feel this is the best work that I've ever done, and I hope that naming it after myself, that my name does stick around for a little while.
That's not even ostentatious. I think it deserves your name.
I hope so.
Now let me ask you, you're a very young man, unless you're hiding something. I mean, how old are you?
38.
38. This is quite an accomplishment for 38.
Well, thank you very much.
My applause, certainly, and congratulations. Other than accessories, anything else planned? Can we do it for kids who are old? I want one of these in my size.
That's the next thing.
I weigh around
The company that
one-something.
produces this vehicle, I'm at their mercy. In order to keep the cost within reason, I'm at the mercy of whoever makes the base vehicle. In this case, $200 is a very reasonable price for the base vehicle. If I had to go to any type of manufacturing process where I'm doing it myself, I'd be up with power wheelchairs.
Okay.
So what I have to do now is prove to these people that this idea is solvent, that people want this.
Oh, yes.
And then
I
they might
guarantee
listen to me when I say, I have 18-year-olds now that want this. Can we make the same vehicle for 180 pounds?
I'll tell you what, you take them the tape. If they give you any problems, I'll invite them on the show. I wouldn't hesitate to do that.
I hope.
Oh, now Sears isn't going to quit making this anytime soon. This is going to be around for a while.
One of the problems with toys, Connie, is you just don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
Sears has said that they will carry this product through the end of 91, and we're halfway through 91 already.
Are you in a position where you can afford to go out and buy 400 of these and get some kind of a lot price or anything?
No, the only reason that this system is working right now, or hopefully will be working during the last half of '91, is that I don't have to purchase and inventory these base vehicles.
Okay.
The people themselves get them locally. If I had to actually mess with the yellow part here, I couldn't do it physically.
Okay.
That's just nothing. It's beyond my control. So Sears knows about this vehicle. They've been getting calls. Sears at the national level has contacted me, asked me what it's all about, and they're very excited. They went back to Hedstrom, the manufacturer of the vehicle, and said, this is a worthwhile project. Please continue making this. Now it's up to me to prove during the last half of '91 that this is a worthwhile project, and everybody keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you come back in December, bring me one in Christmas colors, and bring the people from Hedstrom and Sears with you?
That would be nice.
I mean, you are welcome back anytime. This is
thank you.
absolutely delightful. I can't believe, and oh, this is soft. I hadn't really squeezed this. For some reason, I thought it was molded plastic, and it's not.
It's actually soft. It is.
Oh,
It does
it's
get a bit
comfortable.
hot,
Yeah, well,
but there are
under lights,
liners
so am
made
I.
for it.
Yeah.
And there are about 4 or 5 different types of chairs. In fact, even a car seat fits in perfectly, a standard child's car seat.
Fits in here, or fits in the...
We take this
area?
out,
Okay, yeah, show me how.
one strap.
How long do you think one of these will last? I know all this part is indefinite,
A
but
very good question.
the little
Actually,
buggy
these
itself.
break down about every 2 years.
I know they crack. I've seen them.
That's exactly what happens. They crack. Now, I'm removing all the switches, and voila, we would just remove the vehicle like
I
so.
could set my child's car
And then
seat
you
in
could
there.
set your child's car seat right in here.
Whoa.
Exactly.
How much does this weigh? I know I couldn't really move it.
Actually, it's a good question. I would say
Like 60, 80 pounds?
40 to 60 pounds, I
Okay.
would say. It's
Okay.
probably more than you could lift.
Yeah, well, I'm a wimp. But it's something that you could pick up, stick in the back of the car, all the equipment with it, take it to Grandma's house.
That's how I see it being used,
Okay.
under very restricted circumstances like that. And then for those people who are adventurous, I'd love to see it in the malls.
Sky's the limit.
I think so.
Any way you could put some tires on here with some with some traction so that if Mom and Dad want to go climb, say, a gentle hill or something, this could do it?
Actually, this climbs gentle hills quite nicely.
I'm
It
not
has
talking
great
about-
traction
yeah.
in grass because the front wheels and the rear wheels drive. There's a chain around both of them.
Okay.
Where it falls down, though, is in the sand. So what I've done in the sand is you have to take out the 2 center wheels or else it gets high-centered. And secondly, there's some plastic dip. In fact, I can even show you some of this plastic dip. The blue part here is liquid plastic that you can buy at any hardware store.
Right.
And I've painted that on all the drive wheels, and then I've taken it out in the sand at Dana Point where I live, and it was a gas. It went fine in the sand.
Whoa. Oh, I am so impressed. You know, I called you because I had seen the thing in the local paper, the Medford Mail Tribune, had a picture of, I believe, you and a child in one of these, and it was on the front page of their lifestyle section. And I was so impressed with what I had just seen in that black and white photograph. I can't believe you came all the way up here to do this. This is so fantastic.
We have a beautiful state, and I'm going to enjoy it over the weekend. I plan to do a little touring around.
Well, terrific. I can tell you where all the best restaurants are.
Okay.
This is great. Now listen, will you come back and see me again?
I think that would be nice. I would
I
be
think
interested
that'd
to
be
see what your viewers have to say, whether this is something that truly is needed.
I'm going to be swamped with orders, I think. And I can't do anything about these orders.
Well, refer them to me because we need it to keep it going, and we'll just keep making it better and better. As we get suggestions, we
I
keep
don't
improving.
see how it could be any better. I mean, this is fabulous.
Every
You-
time that
you
I've
see
thought
things.
that in the past,
You always see something
some parent comes to me and says, gee, if it could only do, and then I think, gee, why didn't I think of that? And then I put it in.
Well, I suppose maybe a little cup holder down here would be nice. You know? And can children like hold a dog's leash and or have
There's
it
no
attached,
reason why they
have it
couldn't.
attached to this? And
Why
have the
couldn't
dog
they?
walk along with
I
it?
hadn't thought of that, actually. That's a great idea. Take the dog for a walk.
Well, I know that children with cerebral palsy, there, I did it right,
Very good.
really get along with animals very well.
Very much
A lot
so.
of disabled children seem to interact quite intensely with animals, and it would be wonderful if you could just loop it around here and have the dog walk along, and the dog couldn't drag it off track.
By no means.
Unless it was like a St. Bernard, maybe.
Even a St. Bernard, no way.
Okay.
Unless it was one of those wonder dogs that pulls one of those Alaskan sleds.
Okay. Now, we only have 3 minutes left, or 4 minutes left, something like that. Are there any downsides to this?
Actually, there are.
Okay, tell me what those are.
what people compare this to is a wheelchair, a powered wheelchair. And this is not a powered wheelchair. It's not a medical device. So that means that you can't get your insurance to pay for it as a medical device.
That was one of my questions. Okay.
Very much so. It can't be compared to a wheelchair either. A wheelchair is a medical device made with precision.
And this is a lot more fun.
I view this as a toy, but I go further than that. Personally, I view it as a necessary training experience for life.
How about a
for some
therapeutic
children.
toy?
Therapeutic toy. That
Yeah.
sounds good. I like
Yeah,
that
thank
phrase.
you.
But in a medical situation, those power wheelchairs will go over more than this will go over, I believe. Their batteries will last longer. They might be more stable. You can get a prescription for a power chair. It has more of a warranty. It probably will not break. This is a toy, and it's manufactured as a toy.
You know, we only have 2 minutes. Is there any more film that we're supposed to see? Or
Actually not.
We've seen everything we're
We've
supposed to see?
seen the whole film.
Is there anything else you want to tell me that I haven't thought to ask? Because you know much more about this than I do.
Actually, yes. These switches that we've been using, we started with these switches because we've been using these in computers for about 8 years.
Right.
And then I wanted to go to some real use of these special switches. And what has happened is some experts that have seen my work now claim that powered mobility may be more important at first for developing children than computer work.
Oh, very good.
I thought that was a
Very
great
good.
idea because
Yes.
you just can't beat movement. If you
That's
think
right.
about a mother with an infant and the baby starts crying, what does the mother do? Movement
And independence is so
and
important.
independence.
I know what you could do. I just had an idea. If you can't move at all, then how about some kind of, I know they're doing all kinds of things with ocular and computer
Yes.
chips and being able to read it off the glasses and somehow program it by where you look. Do you think it'll get that advanced?
Oh yes, very much so.
Wow. Wow.
Because we have an actual computer on board, and the computer was designed at MIT especially for this project, the sky is the limit on what the electronics of this can do.
Well, personally, I think that insurance should cover this, and in fact, I'll go one step further and say that I think that Adult and Family Services or welfare should cover this, because if it's helping these children this much, then they should have it, because it's
I
going to
agree.
cost less in the long run. Anything else?
I
Like
think
10
that's
seconds.
it.
RJ, you've been wonderful.
Well, thank you.
If you don't come back, I'll be really upset.
I'd love to come.
This is wonderful. Everybody, my guest tonight has been terrific. His name is RJ Cooper. I'm going to let him give his title.
Special Education Technology Specialist.
And right before we go, if you have an interest in this, please call this number.
714-240-1912.
Terrific. RJ, thank you. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. I know you've enjoyed this as much as I have. For all of us here at the Ashland Cable Access Channel, do have a wonderful evening. Good night.